welcome to Love and Hips TV.
Yes.
We are back. All of us are back. All the love and all the hips are back.
Together. The family is back.
Yes, we are. Glad to have y'all back. Glad to have y'all back on the show.
We miss y'all too.
We missed you guys.
So I must ask, how was everyone's week and weekend?
Man, it was good. We done had a couple weekends.
Girl.
I know.
My weekend always
busy.
busy. Always. I need to sit down somewhere, really.
That's the life of a model, baby.
You know it. No, it's
And
not.
business owner, yes.
It is. That's just the way
What about
it
y'all?
I've been catching up with a lot of things going on here in Atlanta. You know, it's always something. So, you know, I've been catching these street fests and stuff. It's fall.
Nice.
Fall done kicked in. We
Yeah.
finally got us some fall weather yesterday. So,
Yeah.
been out catching a good breeze and stuff. And just went to the Sweet Auburn Fest last week and went to the Duluth Fall Festival. So, and then last night went to the International Festival.
Okay.
The International Atlanta Night Market. It was pretty amazing. Yeah, I had a really good time. So,
All right.
I want to go next time.
Why
Why invite us?
you know, I kind of got to invite myself at the last minute. So, you know, for a friend, got invited by a friend, and you know, decided to follow suit.
okay.
You know how that goes.
A friend.
How was your week,
And
Dakota?
we're gonna leave it at that.
Well, my weekend was good. You know, I just rested because I had been traveling. I went to Memphis the other time,
Okay.
the other past weekend. So rest has finally found me, guys. So
Yeah.
trying to
Sometimes we need
recruit,
that.
rejuvenate because look, guys, next week. The weekend after, we got a surprise. We're going out of town, loving hips. So I
so
got
we're
to
gonna
get
talk
prepared
about
for that.
Yeah, we're gonna tell y'all all
gotta
about,
talk about that.
all of that. And we want to also just go ahead and shout out to Jazztopia because
Yes.
we got our new
Thank you.
little theme song.
We love it.
Jazztopia. She's an artist an R&B artist out of Detroit. So shout out, thank
Shout
you.
out, Jazzy.
Name of the song is Like I Love You.
It was nice.
And
It was really
I
nice.
can feel you on that.
We
honey.
like
I
that,
love
Jazzy.
you.
Yes, thank you, Jasmine.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anna, what's your weekend?
I know y'all forgot about me, huh? Did y'all get used to not, seeing me here in the seat?
No.
No, we miss you.
None of that.
We miss the Russian doll.
It was good.
Yeah.
My week was really busy. I got to spend a lot of time with my special friend, and his name is Money Man. So I wanted to. I know Money Man is amazing. He is awesome. He is
I
so
like him
awesome.
already.
Yes, and the name Money Man, he's all about the money. He's great. So shout out to Money Man.
Hey, Money Man.
His
Hey.
birthday is coming up this week on the
Happy
11th.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Money Man.
Yes.
We want to know where your brothers are. Bring them to
Right.
His brother is
wanna
very
know.
nice too. His brother is a very nice guy. So they're very nice guys.
Coming on the show.
Well, he probably will be very excited to come on the show, guys.
He gotta bring that money
So he
gun.
is watching right now. So thank you for watching. We appreciate it. And happy birthday to you. So I enjoyed my week with you. So
That's nice.
it was good.
Well, we always got to give our shout out to ABS Fine Arts and Apparel for our clothing.
That's right.
That's right. I'm loving it.
Yes. Hey, Miss Pam.
So y'all know, y'all been seeing us. We dress to the nines every show.
That's
so
right.
Thanks to Miss Pam and ABS Fine Arts and Apparel for keeping us looking fresh.
Right.
Yes, thank you so much.
Fresh and
Right.
so clean.
She dress you up and dress you down.
Right. And I love it how she just fits all of our personalities. I can't say
Yes.
that enough.
She done figured us out.
Yeah.
She definitely figured out the love and the hips.
Right.
did.
Right.
So, we appreciate you, Miss Pam.
So,
Thank you
it's
so
special
much.
when the stylist will take time to, figure out what your likes are and what your needs are. And she does that for all her clients. So y'all check her out.
Okay.
All right.
On Facebook. Let's go.
So,
ABS.
all right. So we will be back with you all and get this show started. We are going to have author Tamara Charles in the building. This is Domestic Violence Awareness.
That's right.
Domestic Violence Awareness Month and Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And she's going to be talking to us about her book. And we are looking forward to speaking with her shortly. So we'll be back after this commercial break.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Coming up next on Love and Hips.
We met by the person that edits our books. And from the first time we met, we've been friends ever since.
Well, I met Tamara as a fellow author. Actually met her on Instagram.
I met Tamara last year when we talked about Marcy's Law, and I heard her story, just of her abuse and just how she came through that.
Best-selling author Tamara Charles delivers her new memoir, UnBroken, Still I Smile. Enter the world of Tamara Charles and see her journey from victim to victor in stunning, dramatic recreations.
And I'm an advocate for domestic violence survivors, and I'm unbroken.
I am unbroken.
I am a domestic violence survivor, and I am unbroken.
Author of Third Time My Charm, I am now unbroken.
My name is Tamara Charles. I am unbroken. Still I smile.
All right. Very good.
All right. Great commercial. Great.
So excited.
Welcome, Miss Tamara Charles to the show.
Thank you so much
you.
for coming on board. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, you guys.
Yes.
We are so glad to have you and have you tell your story about the things that you experienced and how you came through it. You're a survivor. And we are really looking forward to, getting into it and talking about your book. I have it here. It's Unbroken, Still I Smile.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she's going to tell y'all how y'all can get the book and everything. But it is amazing. It's a good read, and it tells all about her story. So we're just going to go ahead and start in. You ready? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So, you experienced a lot from a young age. So, born in Haiti, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Haitian princess.
Yeah, all right.
Ça passe.
Y'all see her, she's beautiful.
She is, and she came prepared for Love and Hips.
Yeah,
she got her looking good, honey. Yes.
I am loving this dress she has. It is everything.
She told us that she had to bring it for the Love and Hips.
I sure did.
She bringing all the love
She
today.
did that.
So that's what we talked about, through all of everything that she's been through, she's got that smile and she's got that beauty. So she brought it here with us today. Mm-hmm. And so, like I was saying, you were exposed to something at a very young age. So I'm going to let you tell about it. From my understanding, it happened at an early age of like 6 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what started a cycle in your life, basically, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you want us to know, without giving it all the tea, but tell us something.
First of all, my name is Tamara Charles. I am a best-selling author of a book called Unbroken, Still I Smile. It made the bestsellers list on Amazon within 24 hours, so I was blessed to have written my book and for God to bless me, because it was my time to share my story, to tell my truth, and to share my my story with the world, especially women who, like myself, who have gone through what I had went through but don't have the voice to be able to speak out because they're still living in silence. So I can relate and just be the voice for the voiceless. But first of all, I had experienced sexual assault at the age of 6 years old back in my country. And my parents had came to America before me and my brothers and sisters did. And during that 1 year, they were absent. A friend of the family was sexual assaulting me for the whole year that my parents wasn't around. Wow. And I remember coming to America. I was 7 years old. I never told my family anything what had happened, but I've lived with it within myself. Like, I didn't say anything. I've lived with this silence for about 30. It took me 39 years to write my book and to be able to share my story to the world, and that's how my family had found out. But during my teen years, I was that rebellious child because
I felt that my parents wasn't there to protect me, especially my dad, because I remember being that 6-year little girl. He used to just be the one to take me to school, like even like he would never let nobody sit next to me when I would be, you know, in a taxi, because he didn't want nobody to touch his little girl. So he was like my protector. So when he was gone and this was happening to me, and I came to America, and he was trying to be that protective father, I was like, inside of me, I was like, you wasn't there, so why you want to protect me now? But they had no idea what was I going through, because all I can remember being that little girl was, you know, the abuser telling me, don't say nothing, it's our little secret. So I lived with that.
Mentally,
It was like a mental challenge for me. And I've lived with it for 39 years. And even till this day, I can still remember him saying that to me, you know. But it was just like a cycle.
So teenagers are typically rebellious anyway at some point.
Yeah.
But with you having all the built up frustration from the things that happened to you, and you're not knowing how to voice that, I can imagine you were probably hard to deal with.
I was very hard to deal with. I was a lost child. I didn't even know myself. I didn't even know who I was growing up. I was always like, I felt like I was living in a darkness, like I was completely lost. Like I didn't love myself growing up, and I was so isolated. I didn't want to have no, you know, friends, or like I was always like silent, like didn't speak too much, and but had so much anger built inside me, and nobody knew why I had so much anger built inside me. Till I wrote my book, and they read my book, and they put two and two together, and they understood why I acted the way that I did. And it's to the point I acted out and had the state take me out of my parents' house because I didn't want to live with my parents anymore. I experienced foster home. I was a runaway child. I looked for love in all the wrong place, in all the wrong men. Because I felt that they were my protectors.
Right.
And there was times like if a man then hit me, I didn't feel like he loved me. I felt like he had to hit me and come and hug me and kiss me and say, you know, I'm sorry for, and that was my type of love, you know. So
wow.
So this. Did you have something you want to say?
So, what signs did your abuser exhibit in the beginning that you now see?
They were controlling, not wanting me to have friends, not wanting me to be around my friends or family, or what I can wear, what I cannot wear. Just all the signs that you can think of. It was more like a mind controlling thing, because they knew I was vulnerable, so they took that to their advantage. So it was just like,
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're all sisters here.
Take your time.
They knew I was. They knew I was lost. I didn't know I was lost, and
so I know that you experienced this with different men. You went through this,
three different men.
times. So do you feel it? Did you feel like you were drawn to a certain
I was
type
drawn,
of man?
very much so. Yeah, I was drawn. I was drawn to those type of men. Because those were the type of men that showed me love, that showed me affection, that I thought that was love, you know.
Their personalities were different from what I remember.
The personalities were different, but they all had some similarities, you know.
Right.
Because all three of them were experiencing some type of demons, insecurities in them. So
within themselves.
I felt like I was, you know, all three of them, I felt like, okay, I was more like a mother to them than a girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Because I felt like they was going through some stuff within that they had experienced, you know, throughout their childhood.
Yes.
And I can relate because I was going through what I was going through.
Right.
It was just like, you know, it was I felt like, you know, we would match for each other, but it wasn't. Because
yeah, they had that mental hold on you.
Yeah. But you did have your beautiful children out of this relationship.
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4. My twins, they're 22. They'll be 23. They graduate from college, and so I'm proud. Didn't follow my footsteps and went through what I went through. And my daughter, she's 16. Her homecoming was last night, and just by seeing her beautiful face, I was like, "Oh my God!"
Homecoming.
Thank you. And I have a son. He'll be 14 next week on the 14th.
Wow!
And, so I have 2 girls, 2 boys. You know, and I'm just blessed to have them in my life, and it haven't been easy, but I make it look easy, but it's not easy. But I just have, it takes a village to raise, these children, and I'm blessed with my family, my parents. Even though I had put them through hell, they never gave up on me. They never gave up on me, and I'm so blessed because.
That's what parents
do.
That's right.
That's right.
And us single moms, honey, we have. We never give up.
Yeah.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah.
We figure out a way to make it happen all the time. And
by any means necessary.
Yes.
So, you know, what do you say to your daughters about the abuse and some of the things that you went through?
Like my daughter, my oldest one, she lives on campus, so she's doing her thing in Boston. Okay. She's in grad school now at Boston College. But my daughter, who's 16, so when I go to like these women empowerment brunches and stuff, I take her with me.
That's right.
Okay, good.
I take her to the teen domestic, violence group, whatever function is going on. I drag her. She don't like me dragging her, but I drag her because I want her to know that what I have gone through, I never want her to experience what I have gone through.
So you're like overprotective of her.
She may not like it. She's like, why do I always have to go to them grown people stuff? I'm like, it's not grown people stuff. Yes, it is. It's boring. But when she goes and she's listening and she's hearing, she like, they'll ask her questions and she'll answer it. And it's like she start loosening up. And she's like, oh my God, I'm glad that I came.
For her to experience
realize
so,
right.
But it's great for her to experience that.
To learn those signs at an early age.
So
even your sons.
Sure. Even my son, I take him too. You know, sometimes I take him. But my daughter, I want my daughters to know that love is not supposed to hurt. That's right. Any man that put their hands on you don't love you. That's not love. Right. So I didn't have that. You know, even though my parents, they're old fashioned, they're from Haiti. Haitian parents. I'm not gonna say all of them, but majority of them, they don't show love. They don't show affection. You know, like, oh, I love you, give me a hug. They don't, good night before, let me, kiss you on the cheek. But they show you other ways. Right. So I try to teach my kids, like, before they go to bed, I love you, or before they leave to go out, to school, I love you, or they'll come in my room and they'll be like, okay, mommy, I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, I love you, Right. So I want my daughters to feel that you don't need a man to know, you don't need a man to tell you that they love you, that knowing that I love you too,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. But
that is so true.
It's
to love and learn to love yourself.
Love yourself first.
Yeah. So I want to get on that topic, Tamara. You speak a lot about learning to love yourself. So how can you help women that were once in your shoes with the experiences that you had to take that step of loving yourself?
I tell women all the time, look at yourself in the mirror. Repeat and just say, I love me, because I remember. Once I didn't love myself, but when I got out that situation, and when I was able to get out that situation, it took me years. It didn't happen overnight. But when I was able to let go of that toxic relationship, that lifestyle, I looked at myself in the mirror and I used to say to myself all the time, I love you. I love me. Right. In the mirror, to reassure myself that I'm beautiful. I don't need a man to tell me that I'm beautiful. I look at myself in the mirror, like I look at my kids and I'm like, and I see me in them, their looks in me, and I'm like, oh my God, my kids are, they look like their mama, so I tell women, if you have children, just know that when you think your children are not watching, they're not looking, they're not hearing you in the house, get getting beat up by a man, they're watching, they're listening, and at the same time, that is affecting them in school. Because I remember my son, and I will never forget that, he used to hear me getting, abused in the home. And I remember at the time he was 6 years old. I will never forget this day when he told me, I want to kill myself.
Oh, wow.
And as a mother,
that's the
I remember
thing.
for months I didn't sleep. I remember once he told me that, I remember taking him. I said, let's go take a walk. I took him to this pond back in Boston, in my city. I took him to the pond. I was like, what's going on? Why you feel like that? Immediately I got him into to see a neurologist, to see a therapist, because I was scared. I was scared.
Scary, yeah.
I didn't want him to take his life, but at the same time I had to come to realize that it's because he was seeing his mom get hurt, being hurt, being abused. I have done counseling. Okay. Yeah, I've done counseling with all my children. Actually, I've done counseling. Even till this day, two of my children see, counselors, because even though it's been 6 years that I have not been in an abusive relationship, but I don't want it just to stop because it's been 6 years. I want to continue giving them that help, that resources that they're able to, to have.
Do you have counseling for the women that's in your nonprofit?
I do, actually. Okay. I have a therapist that's on my team.
Okay.
So a lot of women, when they reach out to me, like, I never sleep. There's days like I'll have women inbox me, or I'll get an email there, or somebody will refer somebody to me, and they will just talk to me and tell me their story, and a lot of times, like, they're scared to get out that relationship because that's their support system, meaning the financial part. And I tell women, I know it's hard,
money ain't everything.
But money's not everything.
Right.
Look at your children. I'm like, is this relationship that, is it worth
it? Yeah.
Being in that relationship and seeing your kids suffering?
Why do you think that they're so compelled of staying besides being the breadwinner and they're being scared?
It's financial, because a lot of time women feel like, because if they're in, especially if they don't have a job, they're not working. It's the men working.
They feel trapped.
They feel trapped. Where are they gonna go? Shelter.
What am I gonna do? I gotta start over.
They're gonna go to a shelter, and a lot of time they don't want to go to a shelter because and plus they're so used to being in that comfort zone. They're so used to him paying for the bill, and a lot of time these men, they use that to their advantage. They throw that in our faces. They know, that we can't move on. They think that we can't move on because of them, because they're the one that's supplying, paying the rent and stuff. But I tell them, let's say, God will always make a way. Trust me. God will always make a way. I'm glad, like, I've never had to gone through, for me, it wasn't financial. For me, it was just like, I didn't want to start over because I had children. I didn't want to bounce from men to men. So I stayed thinking it's gonna work out, it's gonna get better. But I knew, even though I knew it wasn't gonna get better, but I still stayed. But it was very unhealthy for me because I ended up being sick, getting diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I used to get my head banged on a hardwood floor in my living room. In my bedroom, I mean, I had my abuser coming home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, dead drunk, and he would just want to get in the bed, want to have sex, and I'm like, all you can smell was the liquor. I'm like, I don't want to, have sex. So he'll throw me off the bed, Then I'll get up and push him because I'm like, I'm not going to let you just throw me off the bed, Then he would then that's how the fight would start. Then he would start banging my head on the floor, start breaking stuff. Then in the morning, when he would wake up from being sober, he won't even remember what he did the night before.
Wow. Yeah, that's how it happened.
So
what was the point? Like, what was the transitioning point?
The breaking point
for you.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you guys.
How did you get away from that? I just want to know how the escape was.
The breaking point for me, and I love telling that story of my breaking point, is when I woke up on August 31st, 2013. I woke up completely blind out of my right eye.
Wow.
I went was blind for 4 months straight.
Wow.
And I remember waking up from my bed, and at the time, my abuser was laying right on the bed with me, and I remember screaming, and the first thing I called was my daughter, Jasmine, and she came into my room, and he was still sleeping, and I'm like, okay, he's hearing me screaming, and I'm like, he's still sleeping, but I said, that was beside the point. So I told my daughter, bring me outside, and I'm on the front porch, and I'm still not able to see on my right. It's still pitch black. So she called 911, and the ambulance came and got me, brought me to the hospital, and immediately the doctor in ER did some eye testing for me with the flashlight. They didn't do too much because they knew immediately it wasn't nothing that this hospital can do, so they shipped me to the bigger hospital in Boston. And from there, they asked me, anybody in your family has multiple sclerosis? I'm like, no. And I'm calling my mom and my parents, and I'm like, who in the family? They're like, nobody. And they did testing. It's in my brain. It's in my brain. It's like lesion that controls your spinal cord.
Wow.
So the long-term symptoms that I can have is being in a wheelchair or in a cane, but I'm not claiming that.
No, you're not.
I am not claiming that at all.
You are a walking
I remember in your book you said that you prayed to God and you said, look, if you give me my sight
back, and I was going to leave,
back.
and he did just that. I told God, like, look, I remember being in the hospital, and I remembered that night, exactly that night, my abuser had he brought me a plate of food. I was in the hospital for 10 days.
Wow.
And the only thing that he can do was bring me a plate of food. He came with his friend, brought me a plate of food, and stayed for like 45 minutes. They had spent one night with me, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when he left that night, the nurses, like, instead of them coming every hour, like, now it's like midnight, 1 o'clock, so they're not going to come. So I remember putting a pillow over my head. I screamed. I said, God, like, if you give me my eyesight back, I will not go back. And I didn't go back. I didn't get my eyesight back completely after, but I made that promise to God. Like, once I leave the hospital, there wasn't no turning back.
Done, yeah.
And I did just that.
Right.
And it was hard. I went through a depression. I remember when I got out the hospital. I remember I got out the hospital. I didn't even get out my bed for 3 days. I remember my mother, who lived like 3 streets down, she had to come get me out the bed to go take a shower because I just gave up on myself. My hair wasn't combed.
I just want to quote something that you said, and I absolutely love it. It takes only a single event to convince us that we have no control over our circumstances. And you have a lot of quotes in the book, but this is one of your own.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was the one that spoke to me the most.
Yeah.
Because something can happen to you to make you feel like you just absolutely have no control. But you prove that to be wrong.
Yeah.
You have absolute control over your destiny, and you've proven that.
I
So.
tell women when I speak and when I come across women who are going through domestic violence and who doesn't have the courage, and I tell them, I give them my book. I give them my book, and they read my book, and I'll speak with them for hours. I'll meet with them, and I talk. And when I talk, I speak from the bottom of my heart. I speak with emotions because I know what it's like to have gone through. And
that's right.
They are lifted, they are touched by my story, and I tell them I have multiple sclerosis. It's in my brain. Even after that, I was still able to get my bachelor's degree, get my master's degree, and I did that with everything that I have gone through. And I tell them, if I can do it, you can do it.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
No
right.
excuses.
Well,
There is no
Tamara,
excuses for nothing.
Tamara, I want you to tell everybody how they can find you on social media, and tell them how they can find your nonprofit organization if they need some help to reach out. I know you're willing to help anybody in this situation. So go ahead and give them that information, and then we'll have to go to a quick break.
You can find me on Facebook as Tamara Charles. On Instagram, I am Tamara Charles _, and my nonprofit, it's Sisters. It's _ Sisters in Charge, and you can reach my organization at 678-789-1952. Again, 678-789-1952. I'm always open to answer calls any given day, any minute, any moment. So if you are going through anything and you want to talk, you need some resources, you don't know how to get out, please contact me. I'm an open door. So let's stop domestic violence, because domestic violence is so real. When I tell you it's so real, and it's just not mentally, it's not physically, it's emotionally. And I'm telling you, I am living proof that it can affect your health. And I'm not gonna give up, because I'm still cute and I'm still wearing my heels. So let me tell you something.
Well, thank you. We thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much
coming
for
on
sharing.
here
Thank you.
and transparent.
Yes.
That's the thing that people need to see. They need that people to be transparent and be able to tell their story, because you definitely motivate people to come out of the darkness and come out of their current situations. So thank you so much.
Thank you for
and
having
y'all
me.
go get the book, Unbroken.
Ladies,
Still
I
Smile.
have one more thing to say. Let's hold each other accountable. If we are going through certain situations such as Mrs. Charles, domestic violence, whatever, let's hold each other accountable and check in on each other.
Yes.
That's right.
And I want to challenge our viewers out there. If you have a sister, if you have a brother that's going through domestic violence, check in on them.
That's right.
Don't let them walk alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
If they don't want to make that call, you make the
You
call
make it
for
for
them. Like
Yeah.
Mrs. Charles said, there's plenty of resources out there, and we're going to have some on our page as well.
Because we don't want anybody suffering in silence anymore.
That's right.
And any
Yes.
type of
That's
abusive
right.
situation,
Absolutely.
any type of depression, any
Right.
type of thing like that, reach out to people and find out what's going on with them.
That's right.
Some,
Whether it's
there's
physical,
usually a story behind the silence.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
It's always.
always.
Thank
Always.
you
Well,
again,
thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome
Mrs.
to stay on the
Charles.
couch with us and
Yes.
just hang out.
I'm gonna hang out.
So
Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you
It's
very
very
much.
powerful, yeah.
thank you all. This is our actual first segment of Love and Hips Cares, and
That's
there's going to
right.
be a lot of that coming up. We still have breast cancer to talk about on
It's
the
a
next
great start.
segment. So,
Great start.
So thank you for starting that Love and Hips Cares out for us. Okay. So, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what's going on. We got a trip coming up, y'all. We ready to cut up. Y'all
I'm so excited,
y'all
y'all.
get to see some of us get to see us outside of this here. This is the
seriousness.
conservative,
Yes.
serious side, but we gonna bring it in
The
Nashville.
Nashville, here we come.
Nashville, Tennessee. Y'all ain't even really ready for us.
Love and
but
hips
we
take
gonna bring
over.
it on anyway.
I'm
we
gonna
gonna bring it.
bring
We gotta get
the
our cowboy hats.
That's right. We gonna be.
And
We
we
gonna
got a
be
fashion show.
Yes. we
Women
gonna-
to women.
Women to Women Conference and
Yes,
fashion show,
honey. Yes.
So we are gonna go and grace the stage there and talk to some of the ladies and let them know about it. So we'll make an appearance at the
Yes.
Women to Women Conference and fashion show. I always got to represent, and these ladies are doing some great things. So we gonna go there,
Can't
and
wait
then
to
we're gonna
meet
take on the city, honey.
Yeah. Got my cowboy boots.
Cowboy-
These girls are ready, honey. I don't even know if I'm
Nashville.
ready for them.
We
but
ready.
We're gonna make it happen. So
That's right.
we looking forward to
We're bringing
doing that
Atlanta
trip.
to Nashville.
We're gonna bring Atlanta to Nashville.
That's
We
So,
about to bring hot girl summer to Nashville.
yeah, girl, we don't.
Hot girl falls.
Hot girl falls. So to me.
You still you just like the weather. You holding on for dear life.
Hold on. The summer's over. It's hot girl falls.
These Nashville
right,
men
yeah.
need to know how hot Atlanta is.
Don't let the summer
Let her
go.
go. She real
Gonna
ready.
bring the
Once
love
they
and
get
hips
to
to
Georgia
open
Peach, they
road.
won't come.
I'm loving. I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving this fall weather, honey.
I do too. I cannot wait.
Yes, we finally had a breakthrough.
I
This is the
cannot
boot
wait.
club. It's time to bring the boots.
Look,
Yes.
oh, you know
Yes.
what, Anna?
It's about
Yes.
to be
It's
closed
that
for me,
cuddling
honey.
season, girl.
I know. I'm ready.
I got my applications.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to talk about your application.
Hey, I do. I'm gonna bring some to Nashville.
You got
for
some
them to fill out.
applications. Oh,
In
yeah.
Nashville?
So,
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, we're just gonna, bring them to the open road and,
tell these folks about some stuff that's going on in the
Oh,
world.
my
'Cause there's some
goodness.
crazy stuff going on right now. It's too
Yeah.
much going on.
It's a lot of things going on. Yes. Well, first, the lady at the zoo.
No, Lord.
That's just a little bit of the fun entertainment with the lady at the zoo. In the lion's den. I don't know what she had going on. She was high.
She was high.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Something
because
had to be
she.
going
I
on.
mean, she was just doing the
Girl,
most.
she must have been on that good weed.
She
That good.
The good ganja.
She was in that
or
good.
something.
The good-
We should have good
But
ganja.
she was just dancing in front of the lion. I don't know if she was trying to seduce the lion or what she was. I don't know what she was doing,
Was she
but
gonna die?
she was just like in the lion's den, just standing there and just doing this little dance. We have a video actually for it.
Please show
But
that.
she just was like, and the lion was confused. He was
Yeah, he
like,
was
"What am I
even
supposed to
confused.
do
He
with
didn't know
you?
what to do.
Like, am I
Was
supposed to
this
attack
like
you
a
or what?"
2020 version of
I don't know what it was.
coming up?
Lion
Yeah,
King.
she just
Maybe
was.
that's what she was.
Lion
She was
King.
trying to get a role on the next Lion King.
Lion King 3.
Yeah, like that's crazy because she
Mufasa.
was, she was just doing this little dance in front of
Oh,
him,
we
and
got
she was
to
just
see
like,
the
"What are we
videos.
what are we
She
doing
didn't
here?"
make the cut last year. She thought, I'm going to show you my own
The lion was confused.
I got
The
to
lion
see the
was
show it.
confused.
video.
I mean,
see the video.
I was just
Let's see
like,
the
"What
lion.
is she doing?" You know,
She's high.
I don't know, because you know they.
That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy. You know, looking like a meal food. Like a meal food. That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy. You know, looking like a meal food. Like a meal food.
Clearly, she was geeked.
Why?
Something was going
Why?
on. But that just goes to go show the nature of what's going on with people nowadays. People will do anything for some likes.
No.
Okay.
This is a lion.
She was just trying to get a video where the lion like
girl.
attacked her or something, so it was gonna make it go viral. But I don't know, but
Girl, and
why
even
are
he
you
was
doing
looking
that?
at her. He was
The
looking
lion was
like-
confused.
He was.
He had
was
more
like-
sense than the lady.
So
He was like,
are you sure you want to do this?
Right.
You know what? He was
What
like,
we doing?
I'm gonna spare you because they just fed me. So
Right.
I'm good.
Like-
I'm not getting ready to jump over all you.
Don't let me
saying.
go back and get the clan back here,
And then the
okay?
little two-step dance she did. Oh, yeah, she
and then
was
he had like
crazy.
his leg crossed in the back, like I'm gonna just stand right here and watch you. Like, what are you doing?
right. Yeah,
What are you
I'm
doing?
confused.
Crazy.
That was too much for me.
She was doing too
Oh
much.
my
On the way
goodness.
to
And I'm
she
just
had, she had a baby.
I'm just gonna go out and put it on out there because when I seen it and I seen it was a brown girl, it tripped me out because typically we don't do stuff like that. I'm
No,
sorry, no
we
offense,
don't.
no offense to the other races, but y'all
Yeah,
just
it's
a little
us
bit
white
more-
people. We just jump right on
Yeah, y'all a
in.
little bit more.
You're not white.
Now,
You're
and I'm
Russian.
sorry, but y'all a little bit more
Right.
daredevilish than we are. You know, we
You
just
white
don't
chocolate,
put
Anna.
ourselves
You
out
white
there.
chocolate.
No. Rest in peace to the
White Russian chocolate.
the alligator.
I don't do that.
I'm just gonna go.
I'm
on
still
the
not gonna
stage.
do that.
know
I don't
me.
care what color I am. I'm still not gonna be
Black
standing there
girl.
doing a dance in front of the lion.
She was on the vape, y'all.
That's
How many times I gotta tell
crazy.
y'all? She was
Oh,
vaping.
okay.
She was
Oh,
vaping.
Oh, she was?
She
Yeah,
was on
because they
vape.
had
Yeah,
the
she
little
lied.
fake vapes that they
Yeah,
had
she-
on the news.
Look,
And
okay,
they make
she
you
was
go
on
crazy.
something.
To more serious business.
Clearly. I'm sorry.
More serious business. I know you guys have seen in the headlines, CBS, Fox, or so.
Yes.
You have a young man that had got killed last year in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
There was a police officer that went into his home. She mistakenly thought that it was her home.
Oh my goodness.
Can we run that clip there?
Oh, wow.
I mean, this has really caught the news by storm.
Mm.
And to have the victim's brother love her in regards of what this lady has done, this is remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
We got to see that because that's nothing but a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely have to see that video.
Yeah, that was.
Roll that beautiful
Heartfelt.
bean footage.
Yeah, not the bean. It's our commercial.
Who kids are them? She said, those are baby kids.
Safe, and you want to be safe. There is no smoking you out of this comfortable.
We fall down, but we get up.
So we had our little commercial break between
Yeah.
that. So
I enjoyed it though.
I didn't
Especially
I was moving over
that
here.
bar. But just to give you the name of the victim's brother, his name was Brant Jean. The victim himself, his name was Bodam Jean, and then the ex-police officer, her name is Amber Geiger. So we are going to look at the clip, and I just want your honest opinion, viewers, of what you think. A lot of people will say, hey, I don't know if I will be that forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
And I, just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
That was very heartfelt.
See, that was amazing.
That's amazing.
I commend this brother
I do
for
too.
forgiving this woman for accidentally, killing his brother. We have had so many deaths, especially when it is police related. Black men at that. My heart is heavy right now for the family. There's one family that has finally received justice in the black male killing.
And it's just been a lot being said about, people have mixed emotions about him forgiving her so fast. But I remember a saying that I heard a long time ago was, if you forgive somebody, then you relinquish everything.
Right.
They they no longer have the power over you. So you have to, at some point in time, find that inner peace to be able to do that and to forgive, just as Jesus forgave us. That's what what he was saying when he was on the news. That he was interviewed, and he said, that's basically the way he was raised spiritually, and that's what he felt like he wanted to do at that time. And you got to commend him. He's only 18 years old, and for him to have that kind of
that big heart. Now, I am the rebellious one of this one, so I'm going to let you guys know. The officer, for one, how can you mistaken your place for someone else's? She did not have a floor mat. If that can tell you right there, okay, this is not my apartment. For two, she stated that there was a lot of noise in the apartment, but you wanted to go in. You could have called the officers for backup and say, hey, I think there's something going on in my home. I'm afraid to walk in by myself.
It was a lot of things.
It really was.
For three.
It was a lot of red flags.
She did not do CPR on this man. Last note, you called 911 dispatch. The first thing that came out of her mouth was she was afraid that she was going to lose her job. Not that she was afraid that this man is going to die. That this man is going to die after she shot him. You were worried about losing your job.
But we do have to know that justice has been served. It may not have been served to the capacity of what people wanted, because she was facing up to 99 years, and she was only given 10. And it was just a whole lot. So we really don't know what happened in that courtroom, how much was said by her for even him to be able to come to her and say he wants to forgive her, for the judge to give her a Bible and give her a hug herself. And even the bailiff, I saw a clip of the bailiff stroking her hair.
Yeah.
So it was some things that were said by her. She released something in there to make people feel the way, and that's the side that we don't see.
Right.
So
we just have to have a balance. We
do.
have to have the balance of okay, the real talk, and then we have to have the balance of okay, this is a Christian-hearted man.
If it was one of us, do you really think they're gonna stroke our hair?
Absolutely not.
And do all that?
Absolutely not. That's why I wanted to bring it out on the table.
That's
I'm
that's
fine
what
with.
we don't know.
I'm fine with stating that. Okay, yes, he's a Christian man. He's done wonders of forgiving her. But on the other hand, had it would have been me, if I had a son, a black man at that, and he went into a white woman's home or a white man's home, and he mistaken him for his place and shot him. Oh no, he would have gotten life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just be real.
You know, it's
but
just
we're moving on.
We are moving on. We're going to move on from that subject because we can talk all day.
We can. About that. And it's an ongoing topic, and it's going to be talked about for a long time.
That's right.
But so yes, but
we're going to move on to our hot topic.
We're going to move on to our hot topic. Something we can kind of digress.
Is it a hot topic?
Or is there a court?
Yeah, we need to digress. It's been a show that's been serious. It's a serious show.
I got to
love and scares today.
Simmer down.
Simmer down. Okay. So the topic is, I know, ladies or gentlemen, get ready to call in. The number's on the bottom of the screen. What's the number again, ladies?
It's 470-251-4647.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome, honey.
What question of the day, ladies?
Let's go.
How long should you wait before your guy that you're dating pops or propose the question to you?
Oh.
I'm the wrong one to be asked.
Now,
Me too.
I'm going to start off.
Go sit here and wait for the phone to ring.
Yeah. Come on, we need our viewers to go ahead and call.
I feel when you're dating someone, you need at least 2-3 years before you do.
2 or 3 years.
I do. I don't think
girl
she
bye.
that long.
Did she say 2 or 3 years?
Not to say not to jump the broom for him to ask.
You know what?
You said don't get married. I mean, you can be engaged for some time, but how long you got to be with him for 2 years?
Okay, well at least 365.
You get 1 year.
You're 365.
If you don't know within 1 year that I am the woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with, good day.
Well, I can't say all of that because, you know, my situations have proved otherwise.
Mine too,
yes,
so
yes, I have been married before.
No, that's right.
But I have also been in a relationship for 4 or 5 years too, and it did not lead to marriage.
Because look at T.I. and Tiny. Look at that situation.
See, what you supposed to do?
He done proposed to her, 10, 15 years later after they've been dating forever?
Oh, was they together that
Tip
long?
and Tiny, yeah.
But they was young, though. That was high school love.
Okay, let me tell you the reason why I said that.
Okay.
So I had someone in my family that been dating. She been dating this man for 10 years.
Yeah, I did. I had one family.
And he loved other women too. Okay.
Okay.
So after she kicked him to the curb, they broke up.
Okay.
He got up with his ex-girlfriend. Don't you know he married that ex-girlfriend within 2 years?
Okay. Listen, different people bring out different things in you. I'm sorry that they do because I was married as well. I was married too before, so you know, I'm kind of with Toy because I'm not really like looking for that. Like if I'm with somebody, I'm just with them for the relationship. I'm not like okay, let's go.
We're gonna get married.
Time is let's go. Yeah, no. So
I shouldn't have to give you no ultimatum, and if I got to bring it up, and that's a problem.
It doesn't.
Too.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
If
it's
I
just
got
on
to be
paper.
So what do you want to do?
Where my ring at? You got to be doing all of that. Then it's just too much.
But I agree with you. You can get engaged within 6 months to a year,
right?
And then,
and then work on the relationship.
But does that better your relationship?
Marriage takes time.
Does that better your relationship because you got proposed to?
Well, at least you feel like you're
at least you know that you're worth it.
At
least you're not, wasting your time.
And I feel like you build it on something.
Let's
bring up the topic at least within a year.
Right.
Don't if you're just not talking about it and we just do and still doing the whole dating thing. No.
But what if
what is?
I mean, you can be in a committed relationship.
The question is, am I the investment? That's the real question.
Let's go. Let's get some of our callers to call in. Come on, who's on here? Let's go. I'm about to start calling everybody out on this show. Eunice.
Jerry.
We're waiting for you to call in, honey.
Hey, Eunice, Dina. Thank you.
Rochelle Thomas, Mimi, We see you watching, so let's go. Pick up the phone.
I have a Jerry that says she is not waiting 2-3 years.
Come on, Jerry, call in.
So
Call in.
shout out to Jerry.
Right.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Thank you, Jerry.
She said if he doesn't know within a year, you're not the one.
Oh,
girl, yes.
Well,
Thank
dang,
you,
I'm past my limit now. Dang, past my limit. I just passed my limit, y'all.
Thanks, Jamal, for tuning in.
Yes, thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Yes.
Call in.
Y'all call in. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. We're not gonna bite you. I mean, it's
Text
only
us your questions so we can answer them live right now. On how long should you wait before a guy propose?
No, honey.
I agree. About a year or so.
I am worth it.
A year? I don't know. A year is too soon because look.
Or so. I said or so.
Because listen, because when you're in these relationships sometimes and you don't know the person, like you know, you have to know the person. And I'm saying like I got engaged really fast, and luckily my ex-husband was amazing. I mean, he was amazing. He was a great man to me. So but we got engaged within like 3 months of meeting each other. That was real fast. Yeah. But we were married. But then some of these people, like I was actually in a relationship. I was actually in an abusive relationship, and I was totally in love. I mean, I was just like head over heels in love. And I found out within 3 years that he was an abuser. I was part of that, and it was horrible. So he was talking about marriage and everything, but it was all a show. Like he was just, it was a show. Right. So you have to know somebody. So a year for me is out of the question. I have to get to know you more. Like 5 years, I'm good. Like I got to know everything. We got to live together. Yeah. Because if you're married, you have to go through a lot of stuff.
I'm not giving nobody else another 4 or 5 years. It's been a learning experience for me. So he gonna have to come correct within about a year. I'm like these ladies now. I'm starting to the light bulb done came on. my light bulb, everything.
But you know what?
Like
my divorce was very quick and easy, and we were on the same page. But imagine marrying somebody like that, and you have to divorce. Like you have to show up. They want to fight with you in court. They don't want to give you this. They don't want to give you the house. It's draining. That's why I'm saying like the marriage is crazy. So you can have a relationship.
It's bliss, everybody. Don't get married.
It is. No, get married. Get married.
Yeah, marry the right one.
I always.
But you have to get to know them. You got to get to know them.
But you really can't know anybody. I don't care if it's 5 years, 10. You still don't know them.
You meet their representative all the time.
Not really.
Well, I mean, you get to know them more and more once you start living with them. You start getting their habits. You start seeing the negatives because in the beginning everything is butterflies.
Process.
Everything is perfect.
But then once you go through, like what I went through, what you went through, you get to see those negatives. Especially when you move in together, it's like, oh Jesus, why?
I'm not moving in. I'm not moving in. Like you are not about to get wifey material, okay? Because I feel like that's going to delay the process. You're not getting wifey material.
But then if you move in together and then you start seeing the negatives, it's going to be harder for you to like divorce. You know what I mean?
I just can't.
If that's not somebody that you want to be with, because then that makes the relationship hard.
You can't have wifey benefits.
The point of the matter is 2-3 years. Get to learn them. Get to know them. Pray about it before you marry. And if it's meant to be, it's gonna be.
Amen.
God bless the marriage union. People have shied away from the marriage thing. They're doing everything now, trying not to get married. So bring it up in your relationships. Make it a topic of the relationship in the beginning. It ain't too soon to talk about.
We got a caller.
Uh-oh.
Love and Hips. How can I help you?
Look at that one.
Yes. This is Eunice Dina.
Hi, Eunice. How are you?
Eunice, the family called us.
Yes, thank you.
I had to call her out.
Yes,
Eunice,
I'm doing fine.
So what's your...
I'm calling in regards to your the marriage question.
Okay.
How long should you wait for them to do a proposal?
Yeah.
I really feel you need a year or so to get to know that person.
Okay.
Thank you, Eunice.
Yes.
I had two marriages, and each one was after a quick dating period, and they end up being the worst disasters of my life.
Oh, wow.
So you need to really get to know a person and know that person's family.
That's right. Family. Once you marry because when you marry the person, you marry the family.
That's right.
So with that being said, though, Eunice, with that being said, so do you think, like when people that are in relationships in 3, 4, 5 years, do you think that's absolutely too long? Is there like a cutoff point? Do you think there should be?
I think that is actually it's really too long. They should know within a year or two.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. I agree.
That's for people that want to get married.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for being such a loyal
watcher.
viewer.
Yes.
Thank you, Eunice, for calling in.
Thank you, ladies. Y'all are doing good, and you look really good.
Thank you.
Especially my little sweet cousin.
Aww. That's why. That's her cousin. Look.
Yes.
Let's not blow her head up anymore, Eunice. Thank you so much. Our little baby here.
She's already
all right. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Well, y'all.
Well.
That concludes
our Love and Hips.
Our Love and Hips TV show.
So we are going to continue Love and Hips Cares for the month of October.
All right.
And we'll be back with you all on October the 22nd with talking about breast cancer awareness.
That's right.
Got to take care of the girls. So.
Take care of the girls.
The routine business. We'll go into that.
We're going to talk all about breast cancer on the next segment of Love and Hips.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Until then,
stay tuned.
Keep loving yourself.
Love yourself.
Love and Hips.
Wow.
That's right. Thank you, Tamara.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Animalistic for attraction. What else could it be? Said your vision isn't hazy. Then who do you see?